I said yesterday, it's cotton picking time. And what I mean by that, my grandpa used that phrase, it's cotton picking time. That means that it's time to figure it out. It's time to make a decision. It's time to go. It's go time. Right? My grandpa would tell you because his father was a farmer and he ran off the farm to become a mechanic at 15 because he did not want to be a farmer. And I ran away from being a mechanic at the age of 16 because I didn't want to be a mechanic. My brother did. That said, my grandpa would say, there's plowing season. You can let it lie fallow, or you can plow it up, and there's plowing season, and there's planting season, and there's growing season, and there's fertilizing season, and there comes a time when it's picking season. And it's cotton picking season right now when it comes to politics in the state of Tennessee. And you're going to see a lot of these political ads, and we're going to cut through all of them. None of this is and so I got a lot of listeners coming in. I got a lot of people that maybe, they gravitate to other things and they're doing other things. It's the midst of the summer, but, they want a little refresher as to where we are in the political campaign season. They see a lot of these commercials on television and they come over to your good friend and buddy, Matt Murphy, to figure out what's happening. And that's what I'm here for. Let me remind all of you wonderful people, none of this is personal. None of it. To meet John Rose is to like John Rose. To meet Monty Fritz is to like Monty Fritz. To meet Marsha, it is the nature of a politician that they are likable. So we just need to get all of that out of the way, okay? None of this is personal. None of it. It's business. That's another fabulous feature film. Not personal. It's business, so. Can you get me out of this, Tom, for old time's sake? Can't do it, Sally. None of this is personal. The nature of being in politics is that you're a likable person. I mean, for the most part, right? I mean, tell me the political figure that is unlikable. Now, you've got some that are kind of just characters. But for the most part, they're going to be likable. I mean, hell, I wouldn't vote for Chaz Mulder on a bet. But this dude seems likable. I mean, the Democrats are getting a little unlikable in the sense that they're just so damn mean and angry all the time. But that's a different horse for another day. We're going to talk Republican Party politics coming up in just a moment. We're also going to try to make Jackson feel better about his allergies. I'm not asking anyone to call you. I wouldn't do that to you. Not 2 days in a row. I want you to feel better about your allergies. I don't know how to. You good? You good in there? A little allergy season. Okay. Hey, what's it's episode 1071. What's the title of today's show? I have flummoxed young Jackson at 22 after the hour of 3 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. I'm trying to do this more. Oh, Spotify, iHeart, TuneIn, our own app, Super Talk 99.7 WTN. We're also on Talk TV, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, Rumble. And when you go over there to the YouTube chat and start chatting with some of those knuckleheads, you'll see the title of the show. And the title of episode 1071 is
Metro Council Meeting Fallout plus Banging the Gong of Tennessee Politics.
Let's get it on. Let's bang the gong. On Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hi, friends. It's Matt Murphy for Defend Systems. Brink Fiddler started Defend Systems years ago with a simple premise. He wants to make sure that you are not protected in your lives, in your livelihood, without having information and knowledge as to how best to protect yourself. It all starts with life safety and security consultation, and that's what they do at Defend Systems. So they came into our business here at Cumulus Nashville. They can come into your business as well. And they'll sit down with you and figure out from a managerial standpoint what you want to accomplish. Do you want Brink and his team to talk to you about site surveys and threat assessment, security improvement consultation, where they can help you understand where you are lacking in security and where you need to get better. But they also meet with your staff, the people that work every day in your place of business, and they help them understand how to prevent workplace violence, what to do in the unlikely event that you have like an active shooter situation, emergency and intruder action plans, rapid response medical training. All of this seems pretty heavy, but all of it is so necessary in a dangerously developing world. Hope is not a plan, folks. It is time to get trained with Defense Systems. So if you're a decision maker at a business, at a school, at a church, it's time to call Brink. 615-236-6484, 236-6484, or online at defensesystems.com.
Channel 4 talked to the mother of the child who was grazed in the head by a bullet fired from the next door apartment. You got to hear what she says coming up at 3:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Can't wait for that stellar newscast from Ken Weaver. My name is Matt Murphy. We hope to put on a pretty good radio show today. Glenn Jacobs in the 6 o'clock hour. Cameron Smith will be here just after 5 o'clock. You on the phones until then, 615-737-9986, 615-737-9986. So I'm going to get into Tennessee politics here in a moment and cotton picking season, as my grandpa would say. Real quick on Iran, because I don't have a lot to say about Iran except this. This is becoming a forever war without boots on the ground. The Iranians are not honest people. The Iranians are going to consistently break their word. You cannot expect that the Iranians are going to be on. Folks, I applaud and I appreciate and I electronically hug every single one of you that have guaranteed the freedoms that have made this country so great for 250 years by putting on the uniform and serving. I have not served. But it does not take someone who has been in service to understand what's going on, right? They're just lying. And they're willing to lie in order to string this along until we just run out of steam on it and suddenly they don't have sanctions anymore, or their sanctions are less than they were, or they have funding mechanisms that we've opened the door to that they can then siphon billions of dollars back into their country, or they can begin the process of selling their oil back to the Chinese and whomever else they're selling it to. They're just playing this out and stringing us along as they can. We either need to just leave and stop it and try to reset as best as we possibly can, or we need to bomb the ever-loving crap out of these people to the point that they are on their knees begging us to stop. We should have bombed the Ayatollah's funeral. Why the hell did we allow the Ayatollah to have a funeral? We should have bombed the crap out of that funeral and told them, now is not the time to celebrate. Now is the time to thank America for not bombing you more. Oh, by the way, stop the crap. And who cares what the rest of the world says about it? If there is any example, I am sad to report this to you, and it's going to make a lot of you mad, and then we'll go to the news, and y'all can be mad at me after the news. Donald Trump ran in 2016 on two basic premises. Build the wall, drain the swamp. He built the wall, and I'm thankful, and I will forever be thankful for Donald Trump for that. But the swamp won. And if there's any evidence that I would present to you, first and foremost, that the swamp won, it's this war. Because that's all the swamp. It's 32. Tell me I'm wrong. 615-737-9986. 32 after the hour on Super Talk.
I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got the full forecast and traffic coming up in 5 minutes. Channel 4 talked to the mother of the child who was grazed in the head by a bullet fired from inside a neighboring apartment in East Nashville overnight.
So I get up, come outside. I'm like, I know they're not out here shooting that close to the window like that. So I'm like, no. So I go back in the house and I look in the wall and it's a bullet hole. So I'm like, are they next door playing with a gun? I'm like, oh, no, it's kids in here. And that was like inches away from both kids.
Yeah, detectives say a teenager was handling a gun in the next door apartment when it went off. The bullet grazed a 7-year-old in the head. Fortunately, that child only had a minor injury. President Trump spent his final day at the NATO summit in Turkey telling reporters that the U.S. is prepared to strike Iran again today. And in fact, that is exactly what is happening right now. This after Iran targeted U.S. military bases in the region, shot at ships in the Strait of Hormuz, and then Iran threatening payback if the U.S. continues to retaliate. ABC News contributor and retired Marine Colonel Steve Ganyard says the U.S. was being strategic in where it targeted Iran and also targeted areas near the oil-rich Karg Island.
You notice we didn't hit anything in Tehran. You notice that we didn't hit anything other than what would control going through the states. We did hit some sites up by Bashir, which is up near Karg Island. I think that was a bit of a head fake just to give the Iranians like, hey, we can go this way. And you notice some of their rhetoric today was anybody who invades Iran will be ready for them. So it really shook them that the president came back to Karg Island.
President Trump continuing his court fight over a $5 million judgment awarded to writer E. Jean Carroll, despite the Supreme Court declining to hear his appeal last week. Trump has filed another appeal challenging the order to pay those damages, that coming from a federal judge in New York today. And that's the latest news. Weather is next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News. All right, crashes. We've got the left lane blocked. 40 eastbound right there at Briley Parkway East near BNA. Then in Woodbine, a crash. 440 eastbound at Nolensville Pike. Sylvan Park, 440 eastbound at Murfreesboro. That's 440 eastbound at Murphy Road. I'm Ken Weaver.
"39 minutes after the hour. My name is Matt Murphy, joined by Jackson Williams, Ken Weaver, and you. Thank you for being with us on Super Talk 99.7 WTN and the Matt Murphy Show. Briefly discussing the latest in Iran. If you have any thoughts on it, want to share those thoughts, a lot of you sharing thoughts on the Super Text line. I'll get to that in a moment. 615-737-9986. 615-737-9986. I think my favorite part, there's a lot of good parts of the Super Text line. You know, the Super Text line is a relatively new feature in talk radio. for a long, long time, our central way of communicating with the listening audience was through telephone calls. And I've always loved that aspect of what we do every day. It is my favorite thing to do. I encourage you to call, to communicate. I know that I'm an ass at times. I get it, but I'm trying. I'm better. Y'all, I'm better. I used to be a real jerk back in the day. I've softened over the years. That said, I love talking with you. I love having a conversation, hearing your thoughts on things. But the super text line is an underrated addition to what we do because it gives you the ability to text us like you would text your buddies, your friends, or whatever, family members. And you don't have to get involved in a conversation. You don't have to wait on the line, all of that. But I think my favorite part of the super text line is when people super text us accidentally. And I don't know why I get so much joy out of this, but I do. Where people have texted the super text line at some point during the day. Maybe, a little bit earlier they texted me something. They fired off a pithy text. And now they're talking to grandma or something. And it's just a random thing that every time I get one, I try to put together what they're talking about. Like, for example, Jackson, I just received this. 30 from Park Road, if that works. What do you think they're doing over there? Jackson. Yo, Jackson. Now, we are trying. You get on your microphone and you apologize to me.
I didn't say anything.
I saw what you did. We're here trying to run a family show.
Nothing has been said that's unsavory.
That's why I just kept looking sideways.
Jackson made a gesture, y'all. I just asked. We got a random text from a listener that said 30 to 45 from Park Road, if that works. Oh, now I'm getting. Good for you. 0036 is installing windshields. He's installing windshields, Jackson. Not doing what you said.
That's what the kids are calling it?
30 to 45?
We used to call it doing laundry. Just go and do a little laundry.
What happens if you just go for the 30?
Well, some folks installing the windshields, they're short timers, Ken. I mean, if it only takes you 30 minutes to install the windshield, well, good for you. I don't even know what any of this means. I just enjoy getting the random. 8124 agrees with you, Jackson. I just got an eggplant emoji. What is that for? What does that mean? Josh,
well,
I love
it comes with Parmesan if you go 45.
Get it? Yeah, a little extra saucy. Now listen, I love y'all. I love all of y'all. Josh has written in and said, how long ago was that text? I'll go meet him on Park Road. No, y'all don't go showing up on Park Road. He's installing a windshield. Y'all calm down.
Park Road.
I just occasionally will get one, and it'll be something random, like somebody's firing off a tweet. Iran sucks and all this garbage, blah blah blah. And then 10 minutes later, I was like, tell Mom I'll be there in 10 minutes, and she better not make me wait. Oh crap!
I love it.
You know what I mean? They're people living their lives, man. Now, I'm not immune. If somebody got a hold of my phone and read my text messages, oh my goodness gracious. Just the random things that you say to family, Ken.
Oh, yes.
Just random out of nowhere. That turtle better watch it. What?
Where's the woodpecker?
Find my bricks and meet me outside.
Break the glass.
I got one going on about a rain barrel. Ken, I'm thinking about getting a rain barrel.
A rain barrel?
Yeah, I would consider myself a conservationist.
Oh, collecting water.
Yeah, I don't call myself an environmentalist because the environmentalists have ruined it. The liberals have
completely ruined it for everybody.
Yeah, but, I recycle because I think it's the right thing to do. And I understand that, sometimes you recycle and you think you're doing the right thing and it just goes to the dump, whatever. But, like I recycle plastics, I recycle aluminum because nope, nobody's asking. Nobody's making me do that. I just do that because I think it's the right thing to do. But we've got this area that comes off the house that just dumps water during rainstorms. And we've got places around the property that we need to, because of our eaves, we've got to water even when it rains. You got to water some of these flowers. And I'm thinking about getting me a rain barrel. I've never had a rain barrel.
That sounds like that's actually not a bad idea at all.
Collect the 55 gallons, and you just have to have some sort of, it's got to be like a cistern or whatever where you can access the water when you need it.
Right.
But I'm all about it.
Yes,
all
sir.
about it. And yeah, so my text messages are all about some rain barrels.
Stuff like that.
Uh-huh. If you get a rain barrel, go to the pet store and buy some goldfish, and you'll have no mosquitoes. That'll be plenty enough for them to eat, and they'll stay alive all winter.
They eat the larva.
Huh.
They eat the larva.
Huh. Well, how about that?
Or you could make a bat house. Bats eat mosquitoes.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I mean, or citronella plants. I mean, while we're thinking on those lines, sure. I'm all bat house. I like that.
Yeah.
I love the bats.
A lot of folks out in the country where my mom and dad live, they've got bat houses.
Oh, yes. That's why I'm a big fan of armadillos, Ken, and possums.
What do they do?
Well, they eat the critters. They eat possums. I said armadillos. I actually meant possums. Possums are great for your property because they don't carry any of the diseases typically associated with other critters out and about, woodland creatures.
Right.
And they eat ticks and fleas. They eat.
That's outstanding.
Oh, it is outstanding.
I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah. Possums are great. Now, possums get a bad rap because, well, let's just go ahead and say it. Ken, you wouldn't understand anything about this, but I'm going to go ahead and say it.
Okay.
Ugly creatures have it hard in life. And for 52 years, I've known this. Ugly creatures have it difficult in life. And
I've known it for 58.
No, not you, buddy. Not you. You're well coiffed.
So's that old boy over there on Park Street.
He's going to be there in about 30 minutes. It's going down.
He probably put on some smell good.
The crap's going down on Park Street, y'all. I'm just telling you. It reminds me of an old Eddie Murphy bit. Not Eddie Murphy, Richard Pryor.
You better be careful, dude.
No, Richard Pryor talk about having to come home, his dad's 11 o'clock, be your ass home. You can be out and about, nothing going on. And Richard says, what's everybody waiting on? 11:30. We're going to get it on at 11:30. He's got to be home at 11. They're getting it on over there in about 30 minutes on Park Road. Y'all be careful. 5,200 possums don't carry diseases. They kill horses. What? I'd love to see a video of a possum taking down a horse.
Now, that'd be something.
That would be something else. Awesome carry diseases that kill horses, dude.
Really?
And then, possums carry diseases that kill horses. I've never heard that. Anyway, on the Iranian situation, let me get back to content here. So I'm being as serious as I can be. I do not believe that the Iranians have any interest in abiding by their word. They're not going to abide by their word. The only thing they understand is strength. Why in the hell we didn't bomb that funeral is beyond me. Why are we giving them that, state funeral type atmosphere? I'm being dead serious. They should understand that this is not a negotiation as much as it is a victory by which we are settling our but we haven't achieved victory, and that's the problem. And you don't achieve victory until you show them the sword. You show them the lash, and we've not done so. And sadly, we announced on the front end that we weren't going to do so. But none of that matters because all of this is representative of the idea that the swamp is won. Do you know why we're in this war? Because Israel felt like we desperately needed it, and the military defense contractors needed it too. Now, there are other reasons why. There are very legitimate reasons why. And I don't dismiss those. Both things can be true at the same time. I'm just here to tell you two cold, hard facts of life. that if the military-industrial complex in Israel didn't want this to happen, it wouldn't be happening right now. And sadly, that is a byproduct of the swamp. Now, I'm not saying that that is the singular and sole reason that it's happening. Understand, this is a very complex situation. It's a very nuanced situation. So all of these things can be true at the same time. Yes, the Iranians were a pain in the butt. Yes, the Iranians were causing terrorism around the globe. Yes, that needed to stop. Yes, it was important for us to eliminate the possibility of a nuclear Iran. I agree with all of those things. But if I agree with all of those things, and that's your position, then I would hope that you would agree with me that if the military-industrial complex did not need this, it wouldn't have happened. And if you don't believe that, then I would suggest that maybe you don't understand the military-industrial complex very much. Brian is up next. Hey, Brian, what's going on, brother?
Hey, good afternoon, Matt. Well, in politics, people have a short memory. And I don't know about you, but I'm pretty sick and tired of these politicians, telling us one thing, and then when it becomes voting time, they do another. And back in 2009, Obamacare was being voted on. At the time, it was the Affordable Care Act, and it passed by exactly the votes it needed, 60. And Marsha Blackburn told Tennesseans that she was not going to vote for it. She was going to vote against it. And she went up there and voted for it. And when she came back to Tennessee, and she said that her hands were tied and there wasn't anything she could do about it. And that's a load of crud. And I think that we should hold people accountable for when they don't do what they say they're going to do when they're representing us.
I call it cotton picking season. Now that we're down to it, we're less than a month out, right? I'm hearing from I'm hearing from some political insiders that are supportive of Marsha's candidacy because for a time there, seemed like it was a fate certain in Tennessee politics that she would be the Republican nominee. And maybe it is. I'm under no illusions. Marsha Blackburn is currently leading the political governor's race. But I have a feeling, just based on the wisdom over the years of experience that I've been doing this type of thing and just talking to people on the ground and talking to people like you, Brian, that this is a lot closer than she wants to believe.
I hope so. I really do. I'm just tired of it. I want somebody that's got a little bit of integrity. And I'm not saying she's a bad person, but when you tell us that you're going to do something, and we don't all have the time to run down there and do a vote, she's representing us, and when you tell us you're going to do something, you need to do it. And there's too many times these people get in office, and once they've got the job, they just do what they want to do. It's all their way. They're not representing us at all.
Yeah, so there's some new. I agree with you, Brian. I agree with the sentiment that you're expressing. We're going to continue talking about the gubernatorial race coming up at the 4 o'clock hour. There are new military strikes going on right now. The United States military is carrying out some of those strikes after reports of attacks by Iran on ships in the Strait of Hormuz. Iran cannot help itself. They continue to attack ships in the Strait, and so the United States of America is responding. Once again, I'm not against this necessarily, but I am tired. I'm sick to death of being half pregnant. We must finish this, and we have to do so through a show of force and strength. They understand the sword, nothing else. They look at negotiation as weakness because they think they're playing us for fools. Pardon me, and in some ways they are. 615-737-9986, 53 after the hour on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hi, friends. It's Matt Murphy for King and Associates Insurance. You know, obviously, King and Associates, as I've been telling you for so many months now, they are your local one-stop shop experts for automobile insurance and homeowners insurance, and that's a good deal, folks. But they also do more than just homeowners and automobile insurance. They offer life insurance as well, and that's so very important. And I understand that it's not something that folks necessarily like to talk about because, you know, we don't like to think about that sort of thing, but it's very important. Life insurance is not for you. Life insurance is for your family. It's for your loved ones. It's for your children to make sure that their life doesn't change any more than absolutely necessary overnight in the unfortunate situation that we're talking about, right? So at King and Associates Insurance, they make it very simple. They sit down with options for you, no pressure, no confusion, just options that fit your family and your lifestyle. 615-329-8121, 329-8121. When you're talking to Emery or one of the teammates, ask them about auto, ask them about homeowners. I bundled and I saved big, saved almost $400 on my automobile insurance alone annually by switching to King & Associates. Visit tkinginsurance.com, tkinginsurance.com. Tell them I sent you.
4 o'clock on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got the full forecast and traffic coming up in 5 minutes. The mother of the child grazed by a bullet fired from inside a neighboring apartment overnight in East Nashville is telling Channel 4.
So I get up, come outside. I'm like, I know they're not out here shooting that close to the window like that. So I'm like, no. So I go back in the house and I look in the wall and it's a bullet hole.
Police say that child will survive a graze wound to the head. They're looking for a teenaged girl who they say fired a pistol inside the neighboring apartment. She reportedly left with her boyfriend after that gun went off. U.S. Central Command confirming the U.S. has launched more airstrikes on Iran. Earlier today, President Trump said that was going to happen. ABC News senior White House correspondent Selena Wang.
They say it's because of those attacks from Iran on ships through the Strait of Hormuz. I'm just going to read the statement that we got from CENTCOM saying, quote, at the direction of the Commander-in-Chief, U.S. Central Command forces have started conducting additional strikes against Iran to further degrade their ability to threaten freedom of navigation in the Strait of Hormuz. The United States is holding Iran accountable for recent unjustified aggression against commercial shipping and civilian crews freely navigating a vital international waterway.
It's day 3 of the preliminary hearing for Tyler Robinson taking place in Utah, the man accused of killing Charlie Kirk. Robinson has not entered a plea, but his lawyers want to get the death penalty off the table. ABC's Alex Stone has more on what we can expect in today's hearing.
Attorneys for the state, they are saying that they've got 2 more witnesses, 2 more members of law enforcement, that maybe they can get to both of them today, but more than likely they'll finish up tomorrow. And then attorneys for Tyler Robinson say that they are going to call 2 witnesses, 2 ATF agents who are going to get up and go as well. But the judge is warning them they've got to be done by Friday. This is all going to be up to the judge. I mean, there's really no question at this point, based on the evidence, that the judge is going to say that there is probable cause.
Former Milwaukee judge Hannah Duggan has been fined but won't go to jail for interfering with a federal immigration arrest. A judge previously found her guilty of felony obstruction after she directed a defendant away from ICE agents waiting at the courthouse. Also in Nashville, Metro Council advancing a series of bills that would impose stricter zoning regulations on data centers and establish a temporary moratorium on new ones. Channel 4's Sarah Allen says it came after an unprecedented number of people who signed up to speak on the issue.
Last night's meeting actually broke records with the amount of people that turned out for public comment, which led to that section of the meeting taking about 4 hours, and the vote's not actually happening until 2 in the morning. Ali Maresca was a speaker last night. She was actually speaker number 133 for last night's hours-long meeting, and she says that when the community shows up, change can be made.
Advocacy works, the community voice still counts for something, and our public officials are listening. So I'm cautiously optimistic.
Yeah, so those 2 bills strictly regulating AI data centers advanced on their second reading. Mayor O'Connell's eminent domain measure got through its first reading. The next Metro Council meeting is July 21st. That's the latest news. Traffic and weather next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News. Looks like we're about to clear up some crashes here. The right lane is blocked Ellington Parkway northbound between Douglas Avenue and Trinity Lane. Then by the airport, left lane blocked 40 eastbound at Briley Parkway East. Woodbine, 24 eastbound before 440. The Gulch a crash, 40 eastbound at Demumbrian. Woodbine a crash off on the left shoulder, 440 eastbound at Nolensville Pike. And at Brentwood, a stalled vehicle on the left shoulder, 65 southbound at Concord. West Nashville, injury crash, 40 eastbound past 46th Avenue, 51st Avenue. And in Robertson County, a crash 65 southbound at Portland, Highway 109, exit 121. I'm Ken Weaver.
Super Talk 99.7 WTN, 7 minutes after 4. Thank you for being with us. My name is Matt Murphy. This is the Matt Murphy Radio Show, found on Spotify, iHeart, TuneIn, our own app, Super Talk 99.7 WTN. You can find us on the radio dial at 99.7 FM. And then, of course, Talk TV, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, Rumble, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, Rumble. It is day 534 of Donald Trump's second term as president of the United States of America. It's our 1071st episode of the Matt Murphy Radio Show on Super Talk, and I'm pleased you've decided to join us. Let me clean something up real quick. So Brian called in, and I'm going to admit to you that Brian cut out on my end for just a second, and I thought that Brian said what cut it off on him was Marsha's vote on. I made an assumption. I didn't even think about it. I made an assumption because he cut out a little bit, and when he came back on my end, I heard him saying, and I couldn't forgive her for that, and I assumed that he was talking about Jan 6. And my assumption is based on experience. Most people who tell me the one thing that ticked them off more than anything about Marsha, they'll point to January 6th and her vote to certify the election results. Well, that's apparently not what he said. And I've reviewed the tape now, and Brian actually said, according to many of you, and from what I understand, that Marsha Blackburn, he was angry because she voted in favor of the ACA, the Affordable Care Act. That's what the caller said. Well, that is 100% false. And I just want to make sure that everyone knows that that's 100% false. Regardless of what you think about Marsha Blackburn, one, Marsha was not in the Senate at the time that the ACA was voted on. She was in the House, and she voted against it. Not a single Republican voted for the ACA. Sadly, Democrats had enough votes in the Senate. They had, I want to say, 58 Senate seats and 2 independents that they were able to cram that through even above and beyond any sort of filibuster activity that was proposed. It did not receive a single vote in the House of Representatives and from a Republican, and it did not receive any votes in the Senate from a Republican. So, Brian, if I misunderstood you, I will suspend rule number 1 for you. You can call us back and help me understand what you were talking about if I misunderstood it. But if I didn't misunderstand it, then I would encourage you to do a little research. I mean, you can like Marsha, not like Marsha, but the facts are what the facts are, and that is that she certainly voted against the Affordable Care Act at the time that it was passed in, what was that, 2009, 2010? But maybe I misunderstood you. I don't know. But if I misunderstood you, a lot of listeners misunderstood you as well. 3347. Matt, I had to pull YouTube and go back to replay Brian's call. He said in 2009 it was the Affordable Care Act. Yeah. So, is that Brian? Is that our Brian? Is that a different Brian?
It's not different Brian. I don't know why I didn't turn my mic on to say that.
No, it's not the Brian from last hour.
I don't believe so.
Okay. So, Brian, one, Marsha was not in the Senate in 2009. And I apologize. That's just a host error that I did not ask him to correct himself because I didn't hear it, and then I assumed he was talking about something different. So that's on me. Gordon is next up. Hey, Gordon, how are you?
I'm doing good.
I'm glad to hear it, Gordon. What's on your mind?
Well, U.S. is doing some strategic strikes in Iran again.
Yeah.
I'm sure we know where these drones and rockets are that they're firing on the shipping, and I'm pretty sure they're probably in bunkers. I don't know why we don't go in, drop a couple bunker busters in, and then follow them up with a nice little Moab. It's a nice big bomb that we have, and I'll guarantee it'll wipe out a whole lot of stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I'm all about it. I mean, I just want – my grandpa used to have a saying that I can't say on the radio, Gordon, but it's poop or get off the –
Probably the same one my grandpa had.
Yeah, poop or get off the pot, you know?
Yep.
And it's time for us to do that. We are not in the American people have no appetite for stringing this along in the way that the Iranians are doing. And you need to demonstrate the strength necessary to make them take the knee or stop it. I mean –
Right. Iran's not going to listen to nobody. Iran is Iran. They're going to do what they want, and that's it.
Well, very good, Gordon. I would agree with that. We are engaging in more strikes because the Iranians aren't acting nice. And so the president is following through with his promise that if they don't act nice, we're going to strike them again. I don't think that they care. And I don't think that this will come to anything. And I don't know that it will dissuade them in any way other than if we are willing to use the military might that we have at our fingertips to eradicate them. I mean, why are we pussyfooting around this anymore? Destroy their... obviously, they don't have their minds right. So if you are going to engage in this being half pregnant, going, oh, we're not putting boots on the ground, and no, we're not doing this, and no, we're not doing that, and we're not doing that, and we're not doing this, and we need to get out of it. All of that's emboldening them. Blow a bunch of them up, and you should have done it at that stupid funeral, or stop it. And unfortunately, Donald Trump, I think he came into this. I believe that he went into this with the best of intentions, and either the advisors that he has surrounding him were absolutely wrong, or he was duped. And there's nothing wrong with us saying that. Thomas is next up with a thought on Marsha. Hello, Thomas.
Hey, how you doing?
Good.
I'm sorry.
No,
Hello?
it's okay. Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah.
Yeah. You got to turn, Thomas, if you don't turn your radio down or whatever you're listening on.
Yeah, no, I thought I had, but I hadn't.
No,
okay.
It's all good. It's all good.
All right, well, I'm a born and raised Tennessean veteran, fixing to be 73 years old. One thing I noticed about Marsha Blackburn, she won't get my vote, by the way, and I vote conservative, is that I get news feeds from all of my other representatives, House and Senate, on my phone all the time. And they're telling me, they got newsletters, they tell me that everything from her goes to a paid for. In other words, she doesn't talk to me directly. It says, go look at this, where I'm on this channel or on this channel. I mean, to me, it's all about her. But the big thing is this. I had a situation occur to me at a federal installation, a federal park. They violated the law. I called them on it. I quoted the laws. It went all the way up to the Interior Department, IG, whatever. And then I appealed to Marsha Blackburn's office to give me some assistance. I gave her all the documentation to show that they were improperly handling things. The response came back, we forwarded your complaint back to the people you've been arguing with for a year, and they said that they're fine, so we're done. That is not assistance. I don't know what you would call that. But from that point on, I've never had any respect or like or would ever vote for, because that is not taking care of your constituency. You let the agency that violated the law tell you that they didn't violate the law, and you drop it at that point. So anyway, for what good that is, like I said, that's my opinion of the woman. It's all been about her, and when it comes to us, she doesn't do anything. So,
well, Thomas,
thank you very much.
I appreciate your telephone call, and I appreciate your thoughts on the matter. The Blackburn campaign, we have Glenn Jacobs, who is the treasurer of Marsha Blackburn for governor, I believe, coming up at 6:06, 6:07, thereabouts this evening. And I might ask Glenn about this. Many people are talking about this ad that we're about to share with you. If you're watching on Talk TV, you can see the visuals. If you're not, you can just listen to the audio. This is Marsha Blackburn. Her latest 30-second ad has just gone up, and it is Marsha taking on the Red Chinese.
How hard am I going to crack down on China? Well, here's a clue.
Stand by. Stand by. My apologies, Jackson. All right, let's start that again. My apologies. I was not sharing my screen, according to Jackson.
How hard am I going to crack down on China? Well, here's a clue.
Marsha Blackburn worked with President Trump to take on communist China. As governor, Marsha will fight to protect Tennessee land from Chinese front companies, close loopholes, and hunt down every communist who tries to defy us.
It doesn't take a fortune cookie to figure it out. Here in Tennessee, we're going to stop communist China and protect Tennessee land.
Okay, so that's the big ad. Oh, look, I love those little. I don't know what those are. What are those little tchotchkes? The little Chinese cats that got the little paw that goes up and down. You see what I'm talking about over there on the screen? Yeah. Well, you know what that is? I don't know. I love those.
It's a little cat.
A little kitty cat. And you see them in Chinese restaurants all the time. So for those listening and not watching, I'm going to do it one more time if you're watching on Talk TV, and I'll kind of describe, I'll walk you through it. So Marsha is sitting at the table of a Chinese restaurant, and she is sitting in front of a bowl of fortune cookies.
How hard am I going to crack down?
Okay, so she's got some regular soy sauce there in front of her. She's got a menu there on the table. Her chopsticks are at the ready. It looks like she has ordered or is about to order a little bit of Chinese food. Yes, Jackson.
As a concerned voter, I have one question.
Uh-huh.
Do we think this is a sit-down and order Chinese restaurant or a buffet?
You know, Jackson, it's a great question. It looks like a sit down and order to me, but I could be wrong. I mean, it's well appointed. It's got some lovely Chinese writing in the background. It's got
Too
some
fancy.
of those. It is a fancy place. I mean, they've got it well appointed, well decorated. I would say that this is an order type of place. It's certainly a combo. I mean, maybe they've got a buffet going on, but obviously, based on the size of the menu, I'm thinking
it's a sit-down spot, and that doesn't speak to me as a voter.
Mm-hmm. A little too fancy? Mm-hmm. All right, let's continue.
On China? Well, here's a clue.
Here's the thing. Do Chinese places, as we try to break this down, do Chinese places offer before your meal a big old bowl full of fortune cookies?
No, it's the end of the meal.
That's what I thought. Aren't fortune cookies like from America?
Yes.
Okay.
Marsha Blackburn worked with President Trump to take on communist China.
All right, so it says Marsha Blackburn, and you just heard the man, worked with President Trump to take on China. And as he's saying this, Marsha has taken a fortune cookie, and she's just crumbled it up in her hands, and she's thrown it on the table. She just crumbled it, and she threw it on the table.
As governor, Marsha will fight.
All right, she just gave us that. Look at that. You see that right there? She's giving us the eyeball there. Yeah, uh-huh. Looking right in the camera. Just threw it down there. It's looking right in the camera.
To protect.
And it says Marsha, the fortune inside of the cookie says Marsha Blackburn will fight to protect Tennessee land from China. Okay, more on that in a moment.
Tennessee land from Chinese front companies, close loopholes, and hunt down every.
It says Marsha Blackburn will close loopholes and hunt down communists. My goodness.
communist who tries to defy us.
It doesn't take a fortune cookie to figure it out. Here in Tennessee, we're going to stop communist China and protect Tennessee land.
Okay, so here's the thing. As we talked about yesterday evening, and if you were listening late into the show, we discussed this. I thought I remembered that we passed a law against the Chinese having the ability to purchase agricultural land in the state of Tennessee recently. And this was 2024. And it was, you can look it up, 66-2-303, state policy on conservation, prohibited foreign policies, restricted from acquiring or devising agricultural land, divesting in an interest in agricultural land, and penalties. It is declared the policy of this state to conserve, protect, and encourage the development and improvement of its agricultural and forest land and other facilities for the production of food, fiber, and other agriculture and other silvicultural, product. So current state law prohibits foreign adversary countries, their nationals, and their companies from purchasing and holding agricultural land in Tennessee. Current law requires them to divest themselves of it, and if they don't, the Attorney General can go after them, and it is a misdemeanor. In other words, it is already against the law for communist China to purchase agricultural land in this state. That's a great thing. That's a wonderful thing. I think we can all agree that we don't need a foreign country buying up swaths of Tennessee farmland. But I guess Marsha's talking about doing a little more. Hard to tell in a 30-second ad with her in a Chinese restaurant exactly what she's trying to do. But it's my understanding that you can currently not, China is not allowed to own a business with over 50% interest in said business. And there was legislation, it's my understanding, to lower that threshold even further. And that legislation was stymied in the General Assembly because there's a couple of companies across the state of Tennessee that employ a lot of people that have like 25% ownership in the red Chinese have like a 25% ownership in those companies. And if those companies were forced to divest that ownership, that they would cease to exist and they would have to fire a bunch of people. That is my understanding of the situation as it exists. Someone said, why are you being so negative about her? I think she's a good person, good woman. Okay, let's go back to the first hour of the show. This is not personal. None of this is personal. It's all political. This is business. This is not. I think Marsha Blackburn's a good person, too. I think Marsha Blackburn's a good woman, too. I'm not against Marsha Blackburn, but it is part of my job is to break down the political structure of the political races that we are seeing in front of us and help discuss it with the general public so as to better educate the public and inform them and hopefully make them more intelligent voters as they go into the polls. So once again, I'm not being negative about Marsha. I don't like the ad. I think the ad's silly. I think the ad's cringy. And I think the ad is mildly dishonest because the insinuation is that it is currently permissible for the Chinese to buy agricultural land or to buy land in the state of Tennessee. And it's my understanding that that's not the case. I'm not anti-Marsha. And if Marsha is on the ballot in November, I will vote for Marsha. Proudly do so. I will vote for John Rose. I will vote for Monty Fritz. I'm sure as hell not voting for Jerry Green or whoever comes out of the Democrat Party, y'all. So, once again, none of this is personal. None of this is against Marsha Blackburn as a human being. The political structure that's running her campaign took a calculation that most people don't know that it's currently illegal for the Chinese to buy agricultural land in the state of Tennessee. And the General Assembly took care of that just a couple of years ago. It's 25 after the hour on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hello, friends. Matt Murphy for Better Water. Are you not for better water? I certainly hope that you are. What are you drinking in your house? Do you feel comfortable, pulling some water out of the tap and just taking a sip of it, or maybe that makes you uncomfortable? What kind of water is washing your clothes? Are your clothes coming out nice and clean once they're washed? What type of water are you, watering the plants with? What type of water are you using to bathe? If you don't know, I would encourage you to make a call to Better Water LLC. Better Water will come out to your home and they'll give you a full water analysis. And this is not one of those mail-in deals. I mean, they do a comprehensive analysis of your water to look at sulfur and iron and chlorine and bacteria, E. coli. All of these levels are going to be checked inside of your home. They're going to give you an answer to where you are. And my answer was pretty good. Robert said, Murph, you got good water in Mount Pleasant. And I'm like, yeah, sure I do. Now, he did encourage a reverse osmosis filter in the downstairs area because that's where I do, some of my branch and brown water, if you know what I mean. And you need nice, clean water for that. They treat the water at the hospitals. They treat the water at the coffee shop. And now it's time for them to treat yours. If you don't know, you need to know. Go to betterwater.com. That's betterwater.com, or give them a call. Tell them that Matt Murphy sent you. 615-355-6063. 355-6063 for Better Water LLC.
.30 on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got the full forecast and traffic in 5 minutes. Right now, Channel 4 has the reaction of the mother of the child who was grazed by a bullet from a pistol fired from a neighboring apartment in East Nashville overnight.
So I'm like, are they next door playing with a gun? I'm like, oh, no, It's kids in here, and that was like inches away from both kids.
Now, her child, who was shot, will be okay, but the search is on for the teenage girl who police say fired that pistol from next door and then took off with her boyfriend. President Trump making good on his word today after the NATO summit, telling the reporters there U.S. military strikes on Iran are going to resume, and they are, says Selena Wang.
President Trump had previewed that there would likely be more U.S. military action today. The president saying the U.S. would probably strike Iran, quote, hard again. We don't know exactly the targets in this statement. They are saying that this is in order to degrade their ability to threaten freedom of navigation through the Strait of Hormuz. But today we did also hear the president threaten to target critical civilian infrastructure.
Former Milwaukee County Judge Hannah Duggan will not serve prison time after her felony obstruction conviction. A federal judge instead imposed a $5,000 fine for helping an immigrant evade federal ICE agents at a courthouse. And a bizarre situation in Harris County, Texas, involving a child inside a home apparently injured by lightning. ABC's Alex Stone has details.
It's always been kind of understood that if you're inside of your home, you're safe from lightning because a home is grounded. But an investigation is underway after a child was injured in his family's home in Harris County, Texas. The home, deputies say, was hit by lightning and an electrical current went surging through the home's wiring and electrocuted the homeowner's son, who was using a computer inside the home. They say the child was evaluated by EMS. His condition is not known. Alex Stone, ABC News.
That's the latest news. Traffic and weather next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News. All right, in the Gulch, we got a crash 8th Avenue at the Styx Roundabout, Hermitage, 40 eastbound at Stewart's Ferry Pike, Metro Center, 65 southbound before Rosa Parks, Antioch, Murfreesboro Pike at Franklin Limestone Road, Oak Haven, a crash, Charlotte Pike, just east of Old Hickory Boulevard West, in Madison, Emmett Avenue at South Gallatin Pike, Talbot's Corner, a crash, 65 northbound at 24, and then in Portland, got a crash 65 southbound at Portland Highway 109. That's going to be exit 121. I'm Ken Weaver.
Not only is USS, United Structural Systems, simply the best company to deal with the foundation and the waterproofing of your home in the United States of America, they also happen to be local here in Middle Tennessee, which is pretty cool. They're your local foundation and waterproofing experts, meaning they live here, they work here, and they understand exactly how Tennessee works, how the weather works, and we've dealt with some of that over the last several weeks with a lot of rain and then a lot of sunshine, a lot of rain, a lot of sunshine. They've been trusted in Tennessee since 1994. Over 30,000 satisfied customers have utilized USS's expertise to help identify what's going on with their soil, what's going on with their property, what's going on with their foundation, and how to fix it as inexpensively as possible. Every crack tells a story, and USS knows exactly what those signs mean. Whether it's foundation settlement, basement water intrusion, crawl space moisture, whatever it might be, we need to handle it and handle it with the experts at USS. Book your free inspection today by going to USSTN.com. You can find a lot over there on the website, USSTN.com. Problem solvers, experienced local USS. Tell them Matt Murphy sent you to United Structural Systems. Hi, friends. Matt Murphy for Contours LLC. Folks, all over the Middle Tennessee area are asking myself, asking Dan Mandis, what is it really like at Contours LLC? What are they doing there? Now, we tell you, and I can talk to you about the red light therapy and red light technology till the cows come home. But you know what? We realized what y'all need is a chance to sit down with us at Contours, at the facility, and walk through the process itself with no pressure. There's no salesmanship there. Just getting together, a gathering. We'll have some refreshments, and we'll talk to you about exactly what Contours is all about. And that's what we're doing Saturday, July 18th from 11 until 1. Yours truly will be there. The good man, Dan Mandis, will be there as well. It's a special open house at Contours LLC, a chance to see the facility, see the technology firsthand, meet the team, say hello to us, and learn how Contours works to help people eliminate stubborn areas on the body, to tighten the skin, to look years younger without surgery, without needles, and without downtime. That's what it's all about. Contours is located in Cool Springs. You'll be able to ask and have any questions answered, hear real success stories, and discover the special programs and savings that are available to you. You can find out more about the Murph. You can find out about the Mandis special as well. 615-236-9960 if you have any other questions, or visit them today at contoursllc.com. RSVP and get directions to Contours. We'll see you July 18th, Saturday from 11 until 1 at Contours. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Oh, boy, oh, boy. So, a lot of reaction to, look, if I come off as hardened toward Marsha, I'm not intending to do that. I'm just so tired of these politicians talking like politicians, man. That's all that it is. And, 2 years ago, and I'm not suggesting this legislation is perfect. What I'm suggesting is that they're using talking points, and it's not just Marsha Blackburn. Give me audio video here, Jackson. This was a month ago from the John Rose campaign. Jay Rose is doing it too. Audio video? No? Am I on the... why did it do that? I don't know. Stand by. I don't know why it cut out my audio there. Here's John Rose.
Every day, we welcome 500 new residents to Tennessee. We cannot let our popularity price us out. I'm John Rose. My boys are the 9th generation on our farm. My roots run deep. I'm running for governor to keep Tennessee affordable.
Okay.
To keep China from buying up our farmland. And to keep school curriculum under our control.
Okay.
John Rose. Keep Tennessee.
Okay, so that's John Rose, paid for by Rose for Tennessee Incorporated, Jeff Aiken, treasurer. So, John says keep China from buying up our farmland. Once again, someone tell me that I'm wrong, and I'm just here to educate you. I'm not here to belabor the point that we have already passed legislation that protects agricultural land in Tennessee from Chinese ownership. It was passed in 2024. And I'll just read it one more time. Current state law prohibits foreign adversary companies, including China, their nationals, and their companies from purchasing or holding agricultural land in Tennessee. Current law requires them to divest themselves of it, and if they do not, the Attorney General can go after them. It is a misdemeanor. The primary statute is, I'm holding the primary statute. It's 66-2-303. It says, it is declared policy of the state to conserve, protect, and encourage the development and improvement of its agricultural and forest lands and other facilities for the production of food, fiber, and other agricultural product, except as provided in subsection C. More on subsection C in a moment. A prohibited foreign party or prohibited foreign party controlled business shall not acquire by grant, purchase, device, descent, or otherwise an interest in agricultural land in this state, regardless of whether the prohibited foreign party or prohibited foreign party controlled business intends to use the agricultural land for non-farming purposes. A party shall not hold agricultural land as an agent, trustee, or other fiduciary for a prohibited foreign party or prohibited foreign party controlled business in violation of this section. A prohibited foreign party or prohibited foreign party controlled business that acquires agricultural land in violation of this section remains in violation as long as the prohibited foreign party or prohibited foreign party controlled business owns an interest in the agricultural land. A prohibited foreign party or prohibited foreign party controlled business in violation of this section shall divest itself of the interest of agricultural land within 2 years of this date of this entity or of the date the entity is found to be in violation. So, and then it goes on the penalty phase and all that. Now, if we want to go further, that's fine. I suppose that Congressman Rose and Senator Blackburn would say, well, we need to do more. That's not what they say in their ads. What they say in their ads is we need to keep farmland out of the hands of China. And I mean, I'm just interested in truth. And in the truth of the matter is we've already done that. Now, if we want to demand that Chinese interest further divest their interest, business interest, in Tennessee businesses, well, then that's another thing. But in terms of agricultural land, it's pretty clear that that we've already gone a few steps further than John Rose or Marsha Blackburn are indicating in their current commercials. I think China is low-hanging fruit, and so our politicians in the state of Tennessee are grabbing at that low-hanging fruit, dismissing some of the hard work done by political figures over the last several years to ensure that none of this is going on in the state of Tennessee. Does that make any sense to anybody? Does that matter to anyone? I mean, maybe it doesn't. Perhaps I'm the only one that it bothers. Perhaps I'm the only one that is concerned about truth and advertising. And, you know, political figures typically, it's not even John Rose and Marsha Blackburn or, you know, for what it's worth, Monty Fritz. I mean, I don't know that Monty's doing any of this, but when I say it's not personal, I truly mean it. It's not about them. Their campaign teams, their campaign consulting groups, you know, come up with positions to stake out, and they beta test it and they figure it out. And, you know, and I don't know how they would justify this except to say, well, we need to go further. We need to do more. And most people aren't aware that these things are going on right now. Well, I'm aware. I do not. I would say this as we are a month out from the final election or the primary election, which, I mean, for the most part, this is the election for governor on August 6th. You know, Jerry Green is not going to win the governor's race. She's a leftist from Memphis that's running on the Democrat docket, and any of these candidates, Monty, John, or Marsha, would destroy any Democrat that they put up. So the de facto election is happening August 6th. And there are other elections that are going on, too. A couple of the more competitive ones involve, well, Andy is going against Charlie Hatcher in District Number 5. Johnny Garrett and Van Hillary are going at it in District Number, and John Henry is up there too. I don't want to dismiss John Henry. I don't want to dismiss any of the other candidates. I'm not trying to say anybody's an also ran. And then in 9, you've got a number of folks nipping at the heels in the Republican primary against Brent Taylor, and they'll eventually take on, what's his name, Justin Pearson over in District Number 9, which now stretches from Memphis to Williamson County. But a lot of eyeballs are on the governor's race. I do not believe that it is as much of a certainty as some in Camp Marsha would have you believe. That is based on my years of experience. Maybe I'm dismissing the hidden silent majority that supports Marsha Blackburn. But we're here every day for 4 hours. We talk a lot about national political shenanigans going on in Washington, D.C., and we talk quite a bit about Tennessee politics. And perhaps our listening audience is not the best gauge, but if I were to gauge the listening audience, I'm just telling you, I'm not evaluating it in any way. I'm reporting the news. When I bring up the governor's race, it is 90% negative to Marsha Blackburn. Would you not say that's fair? On the YouTube chat, on the super text line, telephone calls. I'm not trying to exaggerate this thing. I think it's like 90% negative toward Marsha. And then everyone else that, some negativity toward John, not a lot toward Monty. Monty, is a little more of a blank slate. And there's a lot of positivity toward Monty. I don't, for a second, believe that translates into poll numbers. But it does show me that there's some form of disconnect going on between the poll numbers and what the people are actually feeling. And I just feel like if you forced me to lay money on it, I would still lay money on Marsha. Marsha is clearly the leader in the clubhouse. Marsha clearly has the name ID advantage, the money advantage, and she has the polling advantage right now. But I do not believe that it is the slam dunk a month out that her team would have you believe. I just don't. We need to know specifically from these candidates what their agenda is. Why are you running? And, and I understand that she did an interview over in Memphis, and we've asked Marsha, by the way, for an interview, and I've asked to have a sit down with her over the course of the next month, and they're looking at their schedule, and I talked to somebody from her camp the other day, and, obviously Dan had a great conversation with her. I guess that was last week, and we're looking. We've talked to Marsha many times on the phone in her capacity as United States Senator, and I look forward to sitting down and talking to her as a gubernatorial candidate. That said, when you tell me why you want to be governor of this state, it has to be more than, well, I want to make Tennessee better. What are your policy agenda items? Maybe it's less government. Government doesn't need to be involved in our lives in any more capacity. Maybe that's your agenda, and that's a perfectly acceptable agenda. Less government. Conservative government means government only when necessary. What do you want? Frankly, we were having a discussion before the show, and after the podcast, we recorded an All the Best Words podcast today. We were having a discussion about the legacy of Governor Bill Lee. And look, if the legacy of a governor is, hey, we didn't screw anything up and we didn't allow government to encroach any further in your life than it already has, that's a pretty good legacy. I believe that saying no is an affirmative act. And if you're saying, no, that's not the job of the government, that's the job of the private sector, no, that's not the role of government, I'm fine with that too. But tell me what Governor Lee has done. And I like Bill Lee. And I know many of you don't because of your experience with the governor during COVID. And I would suggest to you that every governor in the United States of America had the same responsibilities, and most of them performed worse than Bill Lee during COVID. Most of them did. With the possible exception of Ron DeSantis in Florida and maybe Greg Abbott in Texas, but Bill Lee was right up there in terms of demanding that we get back to the regular order of things. And I know a lot of people were frustrated they didn't feel like he got out in front of it quickly enough, and I understand that. But other than that, does anybody know what John Rose wants to do for Tennessee? They're trying to tell us on these political ads, and they're not always as honest as I think they could be, because China doesn't have the ability to buy agricultural land in this state. It's 10 till the top of the hour, 615-737-9986.
Hear from the mother of the Nashville child grazed by a bullet fired from a neighboring apartment today. That story and more at 5 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Matt Murphy, the Matt Murphy Radio Show. Thank you for being with us. Discussing statewide politics for the next couple of minutes, we'll welcome in Cameron Smith in the 5 o'clock hour and Glenn Jacobs stopping by. Well, stopping by via the telephone in the 6 o'clock hour today. Looking forward to that. 615-737-9986. 615-737-9986. A lot of you responding to my comment regarding Marsha Blackburn and a lack of support. Oh, sorry. My phone was talking to me. And
what's it saying?
It was on one of these stupid... if you want to know, Jackson, I'll tell you. I pulled up Facebook on my phone because I got so much going on these computer monitors because I was wanting to make sure that I had posted YouTube TV on my Facebook page. And I got one of these videos, one of these how-to... We've been doing this wrong. One of these how-to life hack videos. You seen these?
Yeah.
I hate them.
Why?
Because for the most part, the life hack that they're telling you about is harder than just doing it the regular way.
But it's a hack.
Well, one of them was if you cut like a bag of Doritos, if you cut the bag in... you cut it in a triangular way on either corner of the bag, then you take your fingers and you put your fingers in the triangles, and then you reach into the bag, and you don't have to get your fingers dirty when you reach into the bag of Doritos. That's what I said. Stupid. Just stop it.
Just eat your Doritos.
Just eat. And there was another one about some convoluted way where you needed to cut your spatula in a particular way and use 2 different spatulas to flip eggs. I'm like, man, if you can't figure out how to flip eggs, you should probably start eating scrambled eggs. Life's not that difficult. Anyway, 7163 writes in and says, I feel that there is much more of a silent majority than you're thinking, talking about Marsha Blackburn. I look at it like Google reviews. No one typically goes out of their way to leave a good review for a business or service, but they will always leave a bad review, and I feel like that's potentially who you are hearing from when it comes to Marsha Blackburn, the 90 percentile who are very dissatisfied. That is fair and probably accurate. Obviously, people who are dissatisfied with a product or dissatisfied with a politician are going to be the first to pipe up. I will agree with that. And I would not be surprised whatsoever less than a month from today if Marsha Blackburn doesn't get over 50% of the vote and walk away with it. But I also could see a dynamic by which others close the gap. I don't know who that would be, though. I don't know if it would be John or Monty. I like all of these folks personally. Once again, this is not a personal matter. It is a political matter, which is a matter of business. This is not personal, and this is business. Ken Weaver's getting down to the business of the newscast, and that is coming up in mere seconds. We've got 2 more hours to go. One of them, or both of them actually, will involve Cameron Smith. We've got Nincompoops coming up next hour. Glenn Jacobs is no nincompoop. He's coming up in the 6 o'clock hour. This is the Matt Murphy Show. You're listening on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Five o'clock on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got the full forecast and traffic coming up in 5 minutes. Channel 4 today talked to the mother of a child who was grazed by a bullet fired from a pistol inside a neighboring apartment in East Nashville.
You almost took 2 beautiful kids away from their mother. My son was grazed behind that. Somebody has to pay for that.
Bullet went right through the wall. The child's going to be okay. The search is on for a teenage girl police say fired the pistol, then took off with her boyfriend. CENTCOM says U.S. military strikes underway on targets in Iran, which President Trump talked about today before leaving the NATO summit in Turkey.
The president also had declared today that that memo signed by the two countries is over, that the ceasefire is dead, and that he thinks that negotiating at this point with the Iranians is a, quote, waste of time. But there are still mixed messages from the president on where this goes from here, because he was also indicating that he thought his special envoy for the Mideast, Steve Witkoff, and his son-in-law, Jared Kushner, could potentially continue engaging with the Iranians, even as he was saying it's over.
A former Wisconsin judge convicted of obstructing federal agents has been spared prison. Hannah Duggan was sentenced today to a $5,000 fine for helping a Mexican immigrant avoid ICE officers in 2025. An 18-month-old Arizona boy is being called a miracle survivor after being found alive hours after doctors declared him dead. The toddler was hospitalized after being pulled from a backyard swimming pool, then later placed in a morgue room. Staff from the medical examiner's office discovered the child breathing and immediately arranged his transfer to another hospital. Police have recommended negligence charges against the parents while officials continue to investigate this extraordinary case. And after hours of public comment before the Metro Council last night,
the people building these data centers don't want to live by them. Why should we?
Members advanced a series of bills aimed at regulating data centers and imposing a temporary moratorium on new projects, even Mayor Freddie O'Connell's eminent domain legislation. And a self-driving car turns in its occupants to the police. ABC's Wayne Cabot.
Two 15-year-olds are in a heap of trouble for what they allegedly were doing in a self-driving Waymo. Apparently, the interior cameras caught them drinking and shooting from the vehicle. Waymo then called the police in San Mateo, California. Cops pulled the car over and found the teens with libations and a gun that shoots water beads. A police statement says that while these are bad ideas, at least the kids had the sense to use a Waymo because driving themselves while impaired would have made this a lot worse. Wayne Cabot, ABC News.
Entertainment news, Grammy nominations in.
No! I was never dead. Hallelujah!
That's from HBO Max's Hacks, which has the most comedy nods at 24. Also, HBO Max's The Pit is the most nominated in the drama category with 25.
This is the ED. It's not for the faint of heart.
What do you need to get some basic empathy back?
That's the latest news. Traffic and weather's next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News. Boy, 65 northbound between Madison and Goodlettsville is especially slow go today. We've got a lot of brake tapping, complete stop and go around the loop, eastbound to 65, northbound 65 to the south loop, then northbound north loop, eastbound 440 to 24, eastbound 24 after that, and then westbound 40 between the 440 split and downtown. We've got a crash on the right shoulder in Hermitage. That's going to be 40 eastbound at Stewart's Ferry Pike. Then a stalled vehicle on the left shoulder, 65 northbound at 24 there at Talbot's Corner. And an accident on the right shoulder, 65 southbound at the Lyle A. Fulton Bridge. I'm Ken Weaver. Super Talk 99.7 WTN, 7 minutes after 5. Good afternoon. Welcome, one and all. Matt Murphy Show continues. Happy to be with you. Thank you for being with us. Apparently, according to Ken Weaver, traffic sucks. It's not a good thing out there today, Brother Murphy. It's not going well. I'm looking at the thumb. I call the loop the thumb because I feel like it looks like a thumb. If you look at it, y'all are watching on Talk TV? You all watching on Talk TV? So if you're not watching on Talk TV, see how it kind of looks like your thumb? Yeah. You see what I'm doing there? You see what I'm saying? Yeah, it looks like thumbprint. Looks like a thumbprint, the loop. And the loop's all red, y'all. It's all red. 65 northbound between Madison and Goodlettsville. Woo, right there at Vietnam Veterans where you turn off to go to Hendersonville. It's terrible. Yucky. Well, look at this. 24 westbound before you get to Jolton. Right there north of Briley Parkway, it's bad too. What about that 24 down south? It's always that way. Yeah, I mean that's just that's just an average. That's just a day. So if y'all are stuck in traffic, we'll try to make your afternoon a little bit better by delighting you, educating you, and maybe informing you about some things that you had no idea were going on. To include the latest on the Plattner race. Now, you knew that this was going on. The sources are indicating that Graham Plattner is negotiating his exit from the main Senate race. To discuss this and other issues, it is always a pleasure to welcome back to the show our good friend Cameron Smith. He writes for the Tennessee, and he talks to us on a regular basis. He's filling in for me tomorrow.
Yeah, it's going to be fun.
I got a lot of birthdays going on tomorrow.
Yeah.
Not my own.
Well, that's good.
Yeah. I've got E's birthday's happening, and my brother is having his birthday as well.
So are these separate events, or are these combined?
Well, I mean, these things happen separately in terms of their birth.
Right. They're not twins.
They're not. And
weird.
It would be very awkward if that turned out to be the case. There would be a lot of explaining to do. No, is my brother and Erica the same age? No, Brian was born in 71, I think. I don't know anymore. I don't know how old my brother. I know how old Erica is, and I'm not saying that.
That's fair.
Because I'm not an idiot. But I don't know how old my brother is. My brother is either 54. No, this is when he turns. I don't know. I'll have to text him. Thank you, Cameron, for flummoxing the host. One way or the other, I'm out tomorrow.
They say the mind is the second thing to go.
You know what the first is?
No.
I can't remember. I've always heard that the memory's the memory's the second thing to go. You know what the first is? Because I can't remember. You know?
That's good, Brother Murphy.
Well,
I liked it.
Thank you, Ken. Every funny thing I say, my grandpa said it to begin with. What's going on, Cameron?
Well, we didn't do the ceasefire real well. That was interesting.
I just want to bomb. Just bomb them and be done with it. Just or maybe we are. I thought we already won.
Yeah, it's unclear. It's very unclear. They had a big national celebration for the departed Supreme Leader.
Yeah.
And we
didn't bomb that. I wish we did. I said we should have bombed the funeral.
Well, we've bombed a lot, apparently, and it doesn't seem to be having a tremendous net impact.
Uh-huh.
And so we need to either get extremely serious and say, we're not dealing with this regime anymore. We tried to deal with you in good faith. It lasted 2 weeks, maybe not even that long. And, I think that's the big one, that oil had, because of the war, gone up high. Then it declined to back to where it was prior to the war. And now my question is, are we going to do this again?
Gasoline prices have not declined, consistent with the declining oil prices.
I would like
as
to
of
see
yet.
that. I would like to see that.
I mean, they've come down some.
But it lags a little bit.
Yeah, I get it.
But yeah,
a rocket ship up, and it's a feather that when it comes down. I get that. What's the outcome? What's the prediction?
It's the same thing that it's always been. Either you're serious, you have boots on the ground, and you take out the regime, or you just lick your wounds and kind of walk away. And at this point, Iran's saying, you can bomb us, you can do whatever you want. We're not giving up this strait. We know it's a choke point. We know we can leverage you. So either you leave us alone or you take us out. That's it. And I think at this point, I do not relish war. I do not think it is something we should take on lightly. But I think we should, for our future, take this regime out. And I understand that likely means the loss of American lives. But I think it's going to be the loss of American lives one way or the other, because this regime is insane.
Yeah. I mean, what we can't do is continue to do that. Well, I guess we can. I mean, I say we can't do it.
This is not a thing.
I don't think it's a recipe for success in the Middle East. I don't think it's a recipe for conservative success in the midterms. I don't think it's a recipe for good things at all.
No,
the way that we're doing it.
Well, nobody can actually tell me what's going on. I mean, that's the problem, right? There is not a resolute, here's our plan of action. It was, this is done, everything's done. It's clearly not done.
Well, and what's frustrating is, and I want to make sure people understand this. I believe that Donald Trump's, and I'm not speaking for Cameron or anyone else, I believe Donald Trump's heart was in the right place. I believe that he was sold the idea that he could develop a path for a more permanent peace in the Middle East and add to the success of the Abraham Accords. And it's just not come to fruition because you're not dealing with honest people. But what I don't understand, and this is to your point, at this stage, very, very smart people are in big rooms, very fancy rooms, and they're talking about a lot of these things. Who doesn't understand that they're just a bunch of liars,
right?
And they're going to tell us what they think we want to hear at the time that we want to hear it, and then they're going to go and do whatever the hell they want? Why are we hinging the quote-unquote victory on a negotiation with a bunch of lying terrorists?
Well, we obviously shouldn't. And this is where Donald Trump can miss sometimes. He thought this would be easy. I can walk you through the calculation. It was, hey, these are bad actors. We can take them out. It's a weak regime right now. The people will rally and topple the regime if you just light the fuse. I get it. Like, I understand that narrative. It's easy to say, okay, cool, let's go. And then, oops, whoa, they had more economic leverage than we realized. The appetite to put boots on the ground
is zero. And we announced that in selling what we were doing to the American people. But what we also did is announce it to the rest of the world, to the Iranians, that, hey, we're not in this for the long haul. We're certainly not in it necessarily to win it on the ground. So, if you can outlast us with the bombs, which they don't care if their people die.
Right.
They just don't.
And
they feel like they're in a religious war.
Right. And the targets that we want to hit by now know that we're trying to kill them. So they're hiding in bunkers way underground. And I understand that we have the greatest munitions on the planet. But there's some limitations there. Otherwise, Iran couldn't control the Strait of Hormuz. But, I mean, that's the reality. You say, folks, right here on the line, 8688 says, bomb the hell out of them. I get that, but we already have.
Yes, and we say that we have bombed every military target. Well, we apparently haven't bombed where they store the drones.
Right.
So can we figure out where they store the drones so that we can bomb that so that they don't have any drones anymore? How about this? Can we figure out where they store the mines that they put in the Strait of Hormuz to prevent the traffic from the sea? Because I'd like to bomb that. The sad thing is we could bomb Karg Island, but then we're going to disrupt the world's oil supply for the next 5 to 10 years. And we don't want to do that. And they know we don't want to do that.
Right.
We could take over Karg Island, but guess what that involves? Little
boots on the ground.
Boots on the ground, which we said we weren't going to do. Look, and this is the problem. 9777. This is the problem. You guys are too pessimistic for me. I'm turning to the other radio station. Okay. I'm happy to talk about that which makes you happy, but that's not going to be very realistic.
Right. If we're trying to be optimistic about this, you're just delusional.
I don't think there's any fear that Iran's about to attack us. Okay. Right. So there's that. My fear is, if you want to talk about pessimism, that we're going to be talking about this for the next month or two, and it's going to lead right into the midterm elections, which is something that we absolutely did not want to do, which is why the Trump administration was so willing to engage in the negotiations that led to the memorandum of understanding that we were told ended the conflict, which it clearly did not.
Right.
And that's where we are.
Yeah. I mean, and 3668 says we have the greatest special forces groups in the world. Why haven't we used some of them? I don't know that we haven't necessarily, but the force necessary to take out the entirety of the regime has not obviously been deployed. Can we deploy it? Sure. But I think that's the challenge here. And I'm not pessimistic in the sense of, oh, everything's bad. I'm just saying in this situation, we don't have great options because either we walk away and now Iran is in the catbird seat. They are now generating more revenue than they had before because they're saying, oh, cool, we can monetize the Strait of Hormuz.
And if you want to accuse me of pessimism, it is on this front. And it is a fair criticism from 9777 and anybody else that wants to make it, that I believed that Donald Trump was a disruptor, and I think he is. And obviously, he has been a disruptive force in American politics, and I think mostly for the good. My hope was that he fulfilled his two basic campaign promises in 2016. Build the wall, which is to declare that we are a sovereign nation and we get to decide who comes into this country and who doesn't. And he did that for the better part of his first term, and he has continued to do that in the second term. He built the wall, quote unquote. The other part of it was drain the swamp. And that means fighting the bureaucracy that has seen Washington, D.C. grow to the size that it has, to the ineffectiveness that it has. And I guess we still have 2 years to figure it out. But so far, the swamp is winning.
Yeah.
And it does me no pleasure to tell you that, but it's true. In the last 10 years, since Donald Trump took the stage and took over the Republican Party in 2016, our national debt has gone up almost $20 trillion in 10 years.
And that wasn't all on Joe Biden's watch.
No. So if you believe that the swamp survives with money and that money is fake, then
you kind of see it.
6728 does have a pretty good line. Iran wants a nuke. Let's give them one.
But that's a perfect example of sounds good, except for you're going to kill a lot of civilians.
And you have to buy it if you break it.
Yeah.
And that's going to be 20 years at least.
Yeah. I mean, you drop a nuclear bomb on Tehran
And let's just consider it. Let's not dismiss it.
Sure.
Then we have bought the repair of that country for the next quarter of a century.
Yeah.
Is that what you want?
Oh, and by the way, if you do that, talk about disrupting the world's oil supply.
Oh, no doubt.
Glow-in-the-dark oil is a problem. And so I think, again, I'm with you. Like, flatten Iran, go after them. But when you think about it, like, slow down and think about it for a minute, this is what Iran has figured out, is we don't want to do that. The only option for us to resolve this in a way that we actually want is to go in there and forcibly remove the power structure.
4175 says Iran doesn't want a nuke. Well, that's odd because they continue. Well, then what are they doing enriching their uranium? They're enriching their uranium beyond the necessity to build nuclear reactors. They're enriching their uranium beyond the 60% threshold, and they're trying to get to the 90% enrichment threshold that you would need to build warheads. So you need to explain to me why they are so invested in what they are doing. You are buying into the anti-Jewish talking points, 4175, and I would beg of you to take those blinders off and think for yourself. Both things can be true. We cannot want to be there. Israel can be too much of an influence in our Middle Eastern policy, and Iran can want a nuke. All of those things can be true. So you don't have to be anti-Israel and pro-Iran or pro-nuclear Iran or ignore the fact that Iran wants a nuclear weapon. Clearly, they want that level of influence around the globe.
And when you understand that this is a regime led by religious zealots, okay? This is not a just normal government bureaucracy. And when you understand that there is an ideologically fueled regime, then rational arguments start to fall apart. And that's where the Trump administration, and I'll say it, was just wrong. The idea of, hey, we're negotiating in good faith with liars, with people that do not have any, they do not feel they have any moral obligation to deal with us in good faith and tell us the truth. They just don't. And that's the truth. And it's borne out over a long time.
And then 35, and we'll get to some of your calls here in just a moment after the break, but 3524 puts a capper on it and says, you guys sit there and spout your opinions and you don't have a clue what's going on, and neither do I. Only the people in his closed circle do. So quit spouting these opinions out there. The one thing I love about Glenn Beck, he doesn't pretend to know what's going on. Glenn Beck's still around?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. He doesn't pretend to know what's going on, and he knows more about the inner workings of Washington than you two will ever know. Well, I invite you to call me and educate me on what we're saying that's so wrong. Number two, I'm not pretending that we know things that we don't know. Right. I'm looking at the evidence in front of me. We're analyzing that based on wisdom that comes with life experience and knowledge about the issue at hand. So I'm not trying to pretend that we have any special knowledge about any of this. We're just analyzing it.
But imagine I told you this. Remove the name Trump. And I said, hey, Matt, we can't actually know what's going on. It's a closed cabal of politicians in D.C. We just have to trust them. You'd laugh at me.
I know that. I mean, and guys, I've been leery of this effort since the beginning. I started off saying I'm going to hope that smarter people understand how all of this is going to go more than me. That's the way I started all this. And those of you that listen to this show every day know this. From day one, I said, I'm not sure I understand how all of this is going to work, but I trust that there are smarter people in those closed rooms, 3425, that understand this better than me, that are going to figure it out. Well, here we are 3.5 months later, and they can't figure it out. So what am I supposed to do? Just sit here with a thumb up my ass and say, that's cool? Or analyze it in an honest and realistic way? And y'all can't handle this. If this were Joe Biden doing this, we would be freaking the hell out.
We would.
All of us, if this were Joe Biden in his presidency doing this in Iran, we would be freaking out right now.
Yeah.
And I understand it's not, and I'm a Trump guy, and I voted for the man 6 times, and I support him. But that doesn't mean that we are we are duty bound to bow before the altar of Donald Trump and agree with him every single step of the way. And I'm just sick of having to justify that. Just look at the information in front of you.
Right. And I think that's what has me most concerned. I don't even agree with my wife all the time. Like, I love her above all others. Why? Any politician, Donald Trump or anyone else, would I just defer to them and surrender my own judgment of obviously observable facts in the world?
I'm brainwashed by the propaganda. Wait, whose propaganda? The propaganda? Because I'm getting, some people are telling me that I'm brainwashed by the left. Some people are telling me that I'm brainwashed by the right. Some people are telling me that I'm brainwashed by the Jews. Well, gosh, who is it? Who's brainwashing me today? I don't know. I know this. If I don't do this, Jackson's going to come in here and do some washing of his own. Hey, don't you? I shouldn't have said the thumb up my butt thing, and I'm sorry. I apologize. I'd like to sincerely apologize for saying that. I got beside myself, and I allowed my nasty mouth to get ahead of me, and I'm so sorry. Forgive me. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, friends, it's Matt Murphy for Accurate Mortgage. I know this. I don't know a lot, but I know this. If you're looking for a mortgage, if you're looking for honest advice from a local company that understands Nashville and Middle Tennessee, look no further than Accurate Mortgage. To Accurate, you're not just a number to make a quick buck. You're not a reference number on a page. You are a human being. You're a person that they see at the ball game. You're a person they see at the grocery store, and they're going to only advise that you do a loan that makes sense for you financially, and you'll understand it before you sign on the dotted line. I made a purchase this past January. Could not be happier with the experience. Accurate Mortgage was so wonderful. I mean, they explained it on every step of the way. They took care of me every step of the way. They made it easy, folks, and they gave me the loan that I was looking for. If you need a cash out refi, if you need to renovate your current home, if you want to pay off high interest credit card debt, or if you're looking to buy a house, loan advisors at Accurate Mortgage are waiting for you. AccurateMTG.com, AccurateMTG.com, Accurate Mortgage, NMLS 129944. Rates and terms subject to change, equal housing lender. Have any of you actually sat down and read your insurance policy? My goodness gracious. I tried to. And then I immediately ran over to Shane Ring and Cover Nash and cried on his shoulder for a little while because it's confusing, y'all. And it's intentional. Confusing percentages, surprise bills, little bitty fine print that bites you back, always benefiting on their side, not on your side. That's the way it is. At Cover Nash, Shane Ring exists. Cover Nash exists because the insurance companies are intentional in making this confusing. That's why he's working and fighting for you every single day. They have over 75 of the top insurance companies right there at their fingertips. Now, they recognize that these are not bad guys. They're just in the interest of their own interest. Shane Ring has your interest in mind, so he's an advocate for you. And when His knowledge sits at the table. He's going to get you a better deal. He's going to get you, you're going to pay less money on a monthly basis, a better plan for you and your family. It's all about you for Shane Ring and Cover Nash. That's what it's all about. If somebody tells you that you have to wait till open enrollment, stop all of that, folks. You do not have to wait. You can get changes happening right now with Shane Ring and Cover Nash. If you're self-employed, uninsured, or simply tired of paying too much or unsatisfied with your current coverage, call 615-465-0023, 465-0023, or covernash.com.
I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got the full forecast and traffic in 5 minutes. Channel 4 talked to the mother of the child who was grazed in the head by a bullet fired from inside a neighboring apartment in East Nashville overnight.
So I get up, come outside. I'm like, I know they're not out here shooting that close to the window like that. So I'm like, no. So I go back in the house and I look in the wall and it's a bullet hole. So I'm like, are they next door playing with a gun? I'm like, oh, no, it's kids in here. And that was like inches away from both kids.
So that child is going to survive. Detectives say a teenager was handling a handgun in the other apartment when it went off. U.S. CENTCOM says military strikes are underway on targets in Iran, just like President Trump said they would when he wrapped up the NATO summit in Turkey today. This after Iran targeted U.S. military bases in the region, also shot at ships in the Strait of Hormuz.
It's going to happen very fast. We have the Hormuz Strait. The boats have pulled out. I mean, there's a gusher of oil right now. We have a lot of oil. And no, anything that happens is going to happen very fast.
It's day 3 of the preliminary hearing for Tyler Robinson in Utah, the man accused of killing Charlie Kirk. Robinson has not entered a plea, but his lawyers want to get the death penalty off the table. ABC's Alex Stone has more on what we can expect in today's hearing.
Attorneys for the state, they are saying that they've got 2 more witnesses, 2 more members of law enforcement, that maybe they can get to both of them today, but more than likely they'll finish up tomorrow. And then attorneys for Tyler Robinson say that they are going to call 2 witnesses, 2 ATF agents who are going to get up and go as well. But the judge is warning them they've got to be done by Friday. This is all going to be up to the judge. I mean, there's really no question at this point, based on the evidence, that the judge is going to say that there is probable cause.
That's the latest news. Traffic and weather next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News. Antioch, we've got a crash blocking the right lane, 24 eastbound at Hickory Hollow Parkway. In Clarksville, there's a car on fire. It's 24 eastbound near the Sango Road overpass. Hermitage, accident on the right shoulder, 40 eastbound at Stewart's Ferry Pike. Bellevue, a crash, 40 eastbound on-ramp from Old Hickory Boulevard. In Madison, 65 northbound at Old Hickory. Franklin, single vehicle crash there in the median, 840 eastbound at Lewisburg, a Pike. And then in Glenview, an injury wreck, Murfreesboro Pike at Briley Parkway. I'm Ken Weaver.
We're going to get to nincompoops. That is on the way. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. I got a couple of choices to make. Hey, Jackson, you know who won nincompoops yesterday?
That would be me.
What? Are you insane? Oh, yeah, you did win.
And I got a doozy for you today.
Doozy, do you?
Yeah, I've already seen the headline.
Is it? Does it have anything to do with arson?
Yes.
All right. At least I know. At least I know to go to Plan B. No, I don't think you know what? I've already cursed the maximum on this show.
There's no cursing in this one.
I don't know about that.
Well, we're not going to get into it yet. We haven't hit the sounder yet.
Well, that's true. I want to. I want to quickly. Sometimes I hesitate doing this because sometimes it turns into a thing, and I'm not going to make it a thing, Jackson. I'll get out in a minute. But I do want to respect David and Robert and get their thoughts in on this. David wanted to talk about Marsha Blackburn. Hey, David.
Hey, Matt, you got me?
Yes, sir.
Hey, real quick. I was a Marine in the early 80s, and this is not my topic. I'll go quick. I was in the 80s when the Marine barracks bombing in Beirut.
Yes, sir.
If you remember that. I know you're 52, but you might know. But anyway, these people, they don't care. They're all part of the same organization. They believe in only one thing. The more kills they have, the more virgins they have when they are at death. Okay? Okay, quickly, away from that. Marsha. And Jackson's going to love me. Go Vols, Jackson.
Gross.
Hey, this is my thing. It's to me, Marsha is treating this like Nick Saban did when he walked into Neyland Stadium with a hurt quarterback and decided to play him, thinking it was all he needed to move on with a W and walk out. Guess what, Jackson? Go Vols. He didn't.
52-49.
Yeah, I hear it. So anyway, I just wish, I heard Marsha today in some interviews she had, and she was avoiding the question of debates. John, Monty, I wish she would debate somebody, Matt, because the words are in Middle Tennessee. You know what? People want the debate.
It's not going to happen unless she feels like it has to.
Not. Right,
she feels like
she feels like
I'm a little interested because I think I heard that was from like Action News 5 over in Memphis. She did an interview with those guys, and they were like, "Hey, what about the debate?" And she goes, "Well, I've been at many forums with the other candidates, and I don't remember Marsha showing up to a forum with the other. I mean, maybe that has happened, but I don't remember Marsha being on stage with John Rose and Monty Fritz, but."
But no, she spoke as if I've spoke with many Tennesseans, and I know their wants and desires.
Mm-hmm.
I know what Tennessee wants. I've spoke with these people. That's not an answer for me. And as much as I would like to see Marsha, I mean, yeah, but I believe the political ties she has, and as long as she's been in, might have taken over what is right for her and what we need in Tennessee. You hear it all the time. If they've been in office too long, don't go that way. And I really wish Marsha could turn my head and say, I'm to debate John. I'm willing to debate anybody.
Well, the odds are, I mean, I'm on record, David, as saying that debate, and thank you for the call, debate or no debate. I know it matters to some. Debate or no debate, I would put all my money in. If you forced me to go all in, I'm going all in on Marsha winning the primary. That is not anything earth-shattering. What I would say is that in the state of Tennessee in 2018, how many months before the primary would everybody have gone all in on either Diane Black or Randy Boyd? Because my understanding of how that race shook out, it was thought to be between Randy and Diane, and then this business fella named Bill Lee was in there and kind of just snaked right up the middle. It's happened in the past. One more quickie, and then we get to nincompoops. Robert, you are next.
Hey, what's up?
What's going on, Robert? What's on your mind?
All right, so I contacted you guys a few months ago. It was the idea. So there's a few things. I've seen a TED Talk where they actually had an airplane, like a C-130, you fly over a city, and then you have the drones they're swarm technology. They know they're like little itty bitty drones. They don't cost very much. Like literally, the bomb would cost maybe $1 million, $2 million, and they're smart with explosives on them, and they go right for the targets. So like if you dropped it at the funeral or whatever, like it literally would have killed every one of the targets that was there without excessive death, and there'd be no nuclear ramifications. Also, I have another idea. Why don't we take all the pig farmers in America, we grind up the parts of the pig that nobody will eat, like, pig feet and stuff. People don't normally eat that. But we make it into a fine powder.
People do eat pig's feet.
Yeah. Well, some people do, but, we just disperse the powdered pig, and they won't go outside, or they'll go to hell.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard the old blackjack Pershing, drip the bullets in the swine blood. I've heard these types of things. Obviously, I just want to do whatever is necessary to achieve what we define as victory. And I think defined victory would be Iranians don't have nuclear capability. Strait of Hormuz is open and free for passage for commercial vessels.
Yeah, we need to be real clear that we're not making this. This is going to be controversial, but I'll say it. What you just identified is the priority. That's what we need to do.
Mm-hmm.
The pig's blood and stuff like that. Why? Like, I don't want to humiliate anybody on the face of the earth. I don't want to, do things to them that are designed to torture them and mess with them. They are trying to kill a lot of people with their nuclear ambitions. I want to stop that.
Yeah,
I don't have to do the other stuff.
I don't want to respond to radical, fanatical religious belief with radical, fanatical religious response.
Yeah, that's kind of strange.
I don't think that's what we're all about.
Yeah,
that's just me.
I've never known Americans to do that.
Yeah. Hey, Jackson. Now that you got that nasty music out of the way, play the good stuff, would you?
Nincompoops in the news.
All right, boys, we got to go swiftly. It is time for Nincompoops in the news. You know what the news is. You've heard Ken Weaver deliver it. You've heard of Matt Murphy opine on that same, and Cameron Smith. Now it's time to get to the Nincompoops, where we scour the state of Tennessee all across these United States of America.
Nay, the globe.
Nay, the globe, Ken. Nay, the globe. All right, Jackson is going first, I would assume. Jackson, who else gets to go, and when do we get to go?
Here's the order. Williams, Weaver, Smith, Murphy up the rear.
All right. Jackson, by the way, I think I know the story Jackson's about to do. If y'all have got little pictures in the vehicle,
yes,
be prepared to explain to them what a wee-wee is. Go ahead, Jackson.
Fort Wayne man accused of cutting off his genitals and using it to commit arson.
Goodness. What?
Wow. That's heavy.
That's a crime?
I don't even think I'm going to go there.
That's good.
A 36-year-old Fort Wayne man is facing felony charges after he allegedly cut off his genitals and used it while committing arson.
Goodness.
Christopher Peden is charged with one count of arson.
What?
P-E-D-E-N. Peden is charged with one count of arson, which carries a potential prison sentence of up to 12 years. The Fort Wayne Fire Department was dispatched to a garage fire in May, just as Fort Wayne Police Department officers were dispatched to reports of a stabbing, according to court records obtained by 21 Investigates. Peden told police that he was stabbed somewhere downtown and that someone had threatened him the day before. While at the hospital, Peden told an officer he was dishonest at the stabbing scene and wanted to be truthful. Court documents say he said that at about 2 o'clock in the morning, he went into the garage and used a kitchen knife to,
What? No, he used a kitchen knife to what?
Cut off his genitals.
Ew.
Peden then said he poured gasoline on the dismembered organ and set it on fire.
Come on, give it to me.
Leaving the garage and walking away until he found police.
You can't give me
them.
You can't give me the one. Give me one more. You got to give me one more. Go. Oh, well, anyway. Fair enough. You got one good one out of you. That's good.
At the scene of the fire, a fire investigator located a gasoline container and 4 lighters, as well as a bloody nearby kitchen knife.
Yeah.
Court records do not detail whether the organ was located.
Does it say whether he survived?
He did survive, because he told officers he did it.
Okay. All right.
But this fella, He might go in the Nincompoops Hall of Fame.
Yes, we're going to allow this today, but this, Ken, I think the executive Nincompoop committee needs to get together and amend the rules of Nincompoops in the News at this point, because I don't like these pee-pee cutting off stories.
I don't think they're it's so rare.
Not one bit.
Not bits.
Not one.
Well,
not one little bit.
Not one little bit.
He didn't die.
He did. I know, Ken. We got to allow it. But I'm just.
What makes you do that?
I think a super duper top secret, important, immediate meeting of the executive Nincompoop committee is in order, because,
Goodness.
Also, how do you say you were stabbed?
My goodness.
That's not stabbed.
This feels like just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to these things.
It's rough.
What do you?
Makes you a little squeamish, doesn't it?
Yes.
Gives me the willies. Ken, would you?
He doesn't have what?
Ken, would you mind getting this nasty taste out of our mouth?
Here we go, boy. It's out of Oklahoma City. Man arrested after allegedly trying to break into jail for his girlfriend. Authorities say it's not uncommon for detainees to want to break out of jail, but it's very unusual to have a suspect attempting to break into one. But that's exactly what Oklahoma County Sheriff's deputies say they found recently at the Oklahoma County Detention Center. Officials say a deputy found 32-year-old Jake Blue by the jail's south wall using a shovel to dig. Blue claimed his girlfriend was in the jail and added he just wanted to plant a flower. He ended up having an out-of-state warrant, so he was arrested. Investigators say during booking, detention officers discovered, quote, he had a ferro rod used for building fires hidden up his rectum.
What? Excuse me?
What? He had what? What?
Fire-making device hidden up his rectum.
Had the lighter up his pookie.
So
okay.
Apparently he wanted to get into the jail where his girlfriend was and cause a diversion.
Mm-hmm. Light some curtains on fire or something?
It's something like that.
You know what he should have done? Should have cut his wee-wee off.
That right there.
Set that on fire.
Cause a distraction.
That would have worked.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. This is not much better.
It's not.
We got wee-wee dismemberment.
And fire-making utensils up the rear.
Well, summer is the time for weenie roasts.
Fair enough. Cameron?
Wow, I'm just struggling.
I think I'm going to decline to go today.
Did y'all do this, the DoorDash out of Florida? Is this ringing a bell? We'll try it. We'll see what.
Was the man naked?
Oh, is it ringing a bell? Get it? I get it. Was the guy naked?
The quote, when she's trying to do the DoorDash, he lifts his shirt and shows her his dash.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we did that.
Yeah, we did that one. That's a good one then.
That's old Sheriff Grady Judd.
It is.
I don't. That's right. That was the Grady Judd story. We need to get Grady on the show. I don't know that I want to waste my Waymo story on. I don't want to waste my Waymo story on this day.
Yeah, Jackson had it's a loser, but it's a very clear winner in a way.
This guy lost.
Ooh, he lost.
I'm just going to go ahead to encourage you. If y'all have a propensity for voting for Matt Murphy, go ahead and vote for Ken Weaver. We don't need to support these types of nasty wee-wee cutting stories that
now,
Jackson is presenting.
Listen here, Matt.
That is filthy and that is wrong. Ken, I support your rectum story.
Yes, sir.
I heard that Jackson got his from the Chinese.
Rectum?
You can't trust it.
Didn't even know him.
Here's the thing. Is this or is this not nincompoops in the news?
It is nincompoops in the news.
Is this fella not a nincompoop?
No, he's mentally ill.
Yeah.
He's mentally deranged.
Ugh.
Now, the guy with the lighter up his pookie, that dude is a nincompoop.
His name was Jake Blue.
Brian asks, when did nincompoops become Saul?
That's a very good question.
Not sure.
I'm not sure, but you get to vote. Vote early, vote often. Don't vote for me. Vote for Ken or Cameron. Just don't vote for Jackson. We don't need all of that. That's Nincompoops in the News. Hello, friends. It's Matt Murphy, and I want to talk to you for a moment about your health. You know, young Jackson says that he's got allergies. I have a solution if he would just take me up on it. Call Grace Point Healthcare. They're modern medicine delivered the old-fashioned way. Located in Franklin, convenient to anywhere within the sound of my voice. Why? Because they do things differently. They don't believe in you waiting long times to get an appointment. They don't believe in you waiting a long time when you actually get to the facility. They are jiffy quick when you get there. They are your primary care provider from newborns to seniors, and they are a direct pay facility. That means you pay Grace Point, and then you can apply to your insurance company for reimbursement after the fact. That's the way that it ought to be, right? So that your insurance company doesn't dictate what treatment options are available to your doctor. Sadly, that's what happens in other clinics, not at Grace Point Healthcare. They believe in treating the whole body with a comprehensive approach. They're located right in the heart of Franklin, and I encourage you to give them a call and schedule an appointment. 599-6868, 599-6868. For my friends at Grace Point Healthcare. Modern medicine delivered the old-fashioned way. Hello, friends. It's Matt Murphy, and I want to talk to you for a moment about the Wellness Institute of Nashville. As soon as I get this audio to stop on my phone, I will do so. The Wellness Institute of Nashville is a wonderful facility, and if you've never been, you've just got to go to see the Wellness Institute difference. Dr. Kevin Mitchell, Dr. Ashley, and the rest of the team, they work tirelessly to advance the technology, to move it forward. They do that right in-house. I mean, that's what Medical Bay 1 was all about. Dr. Mitchell's like, you know what? I can do this, I believe, a little bit better than it's been done in the past. Now, obviously, they already had spinal decompression. They already had the hydrowave technology. And these are devices, along with things like eSTEM, that are designed to help stimulate blood flow, stimulate healing from a stem cell level, and prevent pain. And that's what it's all about, without having to worry about things like needles, without having to worry about surgery, obviously, without having to worry about pain pills. That's what we're talking about. Pain is bad. Painisbad.com. That's painisbad.com, or 615-246-5009. 615-246-5009. Painisbad.com. Ask about the $33 off their Epic Spinal Special when you call the Wellness Institute of Nashville.
Hear from the Nashville mother of a child grazed by a bullet fired from their next door apartment. That's coming up at 6 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Just about a minute before we'll get to the newscast. Ken Weaver's got that coming up in moments. And then we'll get to the fourth hour of the show to include our good friend Knox County Mayor Glenn Jacobs. He will join us, talk about being a surrogate and advocate for Marsha Blackburn in this gubernatorial race. I like to say we're a month out, less than a month out. We're in cotton picking season. You know, there's plowing time and there's planting time, and now it's picking time. We're here, and we're here for it. We will also speak with you on the telephones, continue to update you on what's going on in Iran and the like. It's the Matt Murphy Show, Super Talk 99. And I'm going to get, we've yet to talk about Plattner with our good friend Cameron Smith. We'll do that in a moment as well. It's Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Time for the news.
I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Radar showing some very heavy rain. If you're 24, just this side of Clarksville, you're going to be running into some of that. Then south of Nashville, Smyrna's getting hammered. And then there's a big cell dropping some very heavy rain right there between Franklin and Nolensville. The mother of the child grazed by a bullet from a neighboring apartment overnight in East Nashville telling Channel 4.
So I get up, come outside. I'm like, I know they're not out here shooting that close to the window like that. So I'm like, no. So I go back in the house and I look in the wall and it's a bullet hole.
Yeah, police say that child will survive a graze wound to the head. They're looking for a teenage girl they say fired a pistol from inside the neighboring apartment, who apparently left with her boyfriend after that gun went off. United States carrying out another round of strikes on Iran, hours after President Trump said Iran's attacks this week on ships in the Strait of Hormuz essentially ended the ceasefire. The U.S. hit military sites and port facilities on Tuesday. ABC News senior Pentagon reporter Luis Martinez says today's strikes are targeting different areas.
We're hearing that these strikes are even larger than the ones that took place yesterday, which were already significantly much bigger than what had been taking place over the last couple of weeks. Remember the memo of understanding? What happened was after that was put into place, we saw a back and forth, and then the United States started telegraphing that they were going to carry out more strikes.
Former Milwaukee Judge Hannah Duggan has been fined but won't go to jail for interfering with a federal immigration arrest. A jury previously found her guilty of felony obstruction after she directed a defendant away from ICE agents waiting at the courthouse. She got a $5,000 fine. Here in Nashville, Metro Council advanced a series of bills Tuesday night that will impose stricter zoning regulations on data centers and establish a temporary moratorium on new ones. Channel 4's Sarah Allen says it came after an unprecedented number of people signed up to speak on the issue.
Last night's meeting actually broke records with the amount of people that turned out for public comment, which led to that section of the meeting taking about 4 hours, and the vote's not actually happening until 2 in the morning. Ali Maresca was a speaker last night. She was actually speaker number 133 for last night's hours-long meeting, and she says that when the community